This week at Nick's Garage, there's danger in the dyno room. Nick's Garage is supported by Atlas Equipment and K-Tool International. Welcome back to the little spot near Montreal where Nick builds dreams every day for his old school muscle car clients. Today, Nick is in the dyno room, the reinforced cell at the back of the shop where he tests and tunes powerful engines. Nick has had more engines than he can count on his dynamometer, and for the most part, he's been very lucky to avoid disaster. But today, he came uncomfortably close to a catastrophe.
Hi, I'm Nick and welcome to my shop. Yeah, we're back in the dyno room and I got something different. Not engine, different reasons. Let me tell you. This is an engine that comes out of Matthew's 69 Roadrunner convertible. Yes, he bought it with that 446 barrel. And you know, he was quoted that this engine, who's ever built it a few years ago, they had it on the dyno and it apparently pulled out 423 horsepower. Now, we're not sure. And he's asked me, Nick, you know what? I want to see what it really does. So he wanted to do some detail work on his car at home. But in the meantime, he took the engine out of the car, brought it here, and he's asked me to have the carburetors rebuilt. But before I do that, he also wanted me to test the engine before we take it apart. You know, like I said, he was quoted 423 horsepower. He finds that hard to believe. But you know, like he said, let's put on the dyno, let's get it running and see how it goes.
Regular viewers of Nick's Garage will remember Matthew's beautiful Roadrunner from a recent live show.
It's a 446 barrel Roadrunner. He also added the ram air hood. You know, this is a 440. I do lots of 440s. It's a 6 barrel. You know, I tuned it over the summertime with the carburetor. He told me, Nick, it would run a few days good, one day it won't run good, and so forth. So we also changed the fuel lines on the car, the fuel sending unit. We put a 3/8 line in the car, you know, because the car came with the 33, so it comes with a 5/16 fuel line. So we upgraded everything with a new fuel pump, new fuel line, vapor gas filter. So he drove it over summer, and now for the winter, he took it out, and he wants to see what he's got. So my goal is to see what kind of power it makes and see if the carburetors work well or not. And then before I take it apart, let's take a look and see what he's got. So this is the before engine overhaul, and then after we'll get back on the dyno, after it's overhauled, after the carburetors have been tuned and rebuilt by Don Oak, then we're gonna put it back in the dyno and see what we get. You know, I'm just curious to see if it's got the 906 casting cylinder heads. It's probably stock. You know, it's got the cast iron intake manifold. It's got exhaust manifolds. It's a zero deck. But you know what? Anyways, I'm gonna do something else after. We're gonna get it warmed up, make a few tests. Then we're gonna take out the spark plugs and make a cylinder compression test. I wanna see what kind of pressure. We're running 94 octane fuel right now. And he also asked me, Nick, what's the cylinder pressure? Well, you know what? Let me warm it up. Remove the 8 spark plugs, full throttle wide open, crank it on the compression gates, and see what we get.
But before Nick has even started this engine, he spotted a couple of issues that will need to be fixed. And they all seem to do with those carbs.
I think the major problem is the carburation on this because, you know, he seems to have a lot of backfires. He's got a lot of fuel leaks. If you look down there on the intake, you see a puddle of fuel. But anyways, like you said, Nick, I like to have it detailed. Let's get him running good. Let's see what we got. And then we'll start all over having everything done. Are we gonna find any surprises here today? I don't know. So all I have to do now is get it started and let's take it from there. I hope it all goes well. I'm gonna put fuel in the carburetors right now. Hopefully there's no fuel leak. And let me just put the fuel pump on. Let's take a look. Here we go. Looks good so far. Do not forget, this engine was just removed from the car a week ago. So here it is now. The car is in winter storage, and it's time for me to play with the engine. Okay, let's crank it up. O2 sensor on. I don't need to have it on all the time. Give it gas.
Now keep your eyes peeled. Have you spotted it? As soon as Nick gets the engine to idle, he focuses on the two obvious gas leaks. The 6-barrel setup has lots of fittings to go through and double check.
You got a fuel leak. Alright, it's okay. It's only for dyno testing. I tightened it up. Check this out.
Nick mops up the puddles of gas from the intake and tightens the offending fittings. At the same time, he's watching the oil pressure, his temperature gauges, and the air-fuel ratios.
Now I'm running the engine the way we took it out of the car. I'm not going to change nothing. I'm going to let it run the way it is, the way it came out of the car. I'm not doing no timing, nothing. Wide open.
Then Nick spots it. There's another fuel leak, a big one, and it's spraying directly onto the distributor.
We have a fuel leak on the carburetor that's leaking right on the distributor. That's a big no-no. Okay, we gotta see what's going on here. This is a big no-no. I know the fuel line is right over the distributor. We got a lot of fuel here, so you know what? Give me a few minutes. Let me dry it up. I want to make sure we don't have any issues here because just want to make sure everything's good. Let it evaporate a bit. Okay, there we go. Let me dry it up. Okay. Wow. I'm going to put the fuel line by. I'm going to put the fuel pump on. I want to make sure the fuel line is not leaking. Here we go. We're good.
Well, that was completely terrifying. But Nick remains cool as a cucumber.
Yeah, that's it. Right on the distributor, that's a big no-no. You know, when you have a fuel leak, be right beside an ignition distributor, it's a big hazardous. For sure, you're expecting a fire. So we were just lucky we didn't get any fire here. It was a close call. I saw it at the last second when I came back out to see how it was going. Okay, just gonna let it vaporize a bit, and then we'll get it started again. But it's all good. Okay, looking good.
Nick has seen a thing or two in his time, and he tends not to freak out at the first sign of trouble. Unless, of course, you serve him his French fries cold. So the boss has another cup of coffee and lets the 440 dry out before carrying on with the testing.
Gotta really tighten it. You know, that's a close call. Raw fuel is leaking out the distributor. That is a big no-no. That would cause a fire underneath the hood in no time. So we were lucky here we didn't get no fire. It leaked on the cap, did not catch on fire, caught it in time, secured the clamp, and now I'm ready to put it back on and see it again, make sure it doesn't leak. There's one thing we don't need is a fire right here in the dyno room. Okay, let me put on the fuel pressure. So when it got 5.5, 6 pounds of pressure, let's see how it goes. You got, look how many fittings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fittings. 3, 6, 3. You got 9 fittings on a fuel line on a 6-pack. And you know, every time you put a new fuel line or a used fuel line, you gotta make sure that those fittings are tight. Okay, don't look at this. This is only a temporary fixture I did. It goes over the distributor. Imagine catching on fire right now would have been a big mess here for me. But just to let you know, from the factory, there's a fuel line coming from that fitting all the way down around the distributor, going down to the fuel filter, which is just down here. Then there's a solid fuel line from here, goes all the way up, over the distributor, and right on the main fuel feed to the 6-pack fuel lines. This fuel leak was my fault. It was my hose. I should have tightened it much more than I did before. So I really secured it right now. You know, I'm very surprised that raw fuel leaking on top of the distributor cap did not catch on fire. In many cases, it would have caught on fire. But I was very lucky, it did not. So we just dried it up, secured a fuel clamp on it, and let's make a test, and then see if we can do some testing. I have 2 fire extinguishers in my dyno room. One right down here, and of course, one right outside the door, which is right there. Matter of fact, I just had them replaced a couple of weeks ago. Anyways, let's get it warmed up. Well, first let's check if there's any fuel leaks, then warm it up. Here, I put my fuel pump on. I've got about, right here, fuel pressure on, pump's working. We got about 6 pounds. Here we go. Let's take a look. Wow, that was a close one. Look, it looks good. It looks good. There's no leaks, so I'm ready to get it started. Looks pretty good. All right, here we go. We got 5.6 pounds of pressure on the fuel line. We got no more fuel leak. I'm very surprised it didn't catch on fire. I should have tightened the clamp earlier myself, but it's all good right now. Like I said, it's only a temporary fixture here. On the car, it will not be in the same way. But in the meantime, let me just warm it up, make a few tests before we carry it down. Like I said, my client said they told him when he bought the car, it was around 423 horsepower. Is it? I don't know. Are the carburetors tuned right? I don't know. Let's check the air fuel ratio. Let's see if we get wide open throttle, and then we'll take it from there. Give it a minute and then we'll go. Let's check the idle. Okay, the idle is very, very lean from what I see right here. You can see it's above 16 air-fuel ratio on idle. Anyway, so like I said, the way we took the engine out of the car is the way I'm going to test it. Then we'll check the timing after that. And then we'll make a cylinder compression test, see what kind of cylinder pressure he has. Here we go. Turn it off. Okay. I tried to shut off the engine when it shut down, but you know what? Maybe I'll bring the RPM down. Didn't want to turn off. But you know what? Let's make another test. Didn't seem pretty impressive. Well, I thought I was going to get 423, hopefully, but it didn't. But 408, better than nothing. Torque. What's our torque numbers? 463, 462. Anyways, you know what? I just want to check the air-fuel ratio. Wow, it's running very rich. I'm looking for wide open throttle roughly. This is on the measured torque and power. Air-fuel ratio should be 12.8, 12.9, 13.0 wide open throttle. I got a very rich mixture here. And what I want to do is just make another test back to back. I just want to make sure, and I think we're going to make a higher RPM. Let's go to 55. Here we go. It's still climbing, so it's pretty good. Here we go. From 5200, we're going to go to 55. So we're going to start at 3000 RPM, finish off at 5500 RPM, and we'll take it from there. Like I said, I just want to see, you know, it's close to its numbers anyways. You know, like I said, it's been rebuilt a few years ago. It does have a 6-pack. It's got HP exhaust manifolds. Okay, then we're going to check the cylinder pressure and I'll check the timing after. I just want to make another run back to back, and here we go. Off. Okay, let me bring the RPM down. Okay, so we have a very lean mixture on idle and very rich on full throttle. And we got 412 horsepower and our torque is at 477. Oh, not bad, not bad. Okay, so it is what it is, but it's running very rich. You know, this thing has potential for more power. Yeah, it's running very rich of 12.1 air fuel ratio. So it's a bit too rich. If you look at it this way, I took it at 5,300 RPM, 38. No, I thought we started at 30. Hold on, there's a little problem here. 3,000. Why did it start at 38? Something went wrong. Okay, so we're gonna make another test back to back. I want to see what's going on here. Something didn't work there because I noticed it took a long time to start. All right, I'm gonna do it again. Here we go. The thing is, I can't turn it off. Turn off the engine. Okay, we'll make another test. Here we go. Here we go. Problem is, I have to adjust my shoulder. Okay, we got a problem. I gotta adjust the absorber because I can't get it locked in at 3,200 RPM. Was it? Let's see. 3,000, and it starts very late. Okay. Here, see it started at 37. Okay, I'm gonna make a little test, see how it goes. Here we go. Here we go. Try it again. Doesn't want to turn off. Look, here we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm almost there. Oh, what I can't lock it any earlier. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to start it at 3,100 RPM. Here we go. I can't get the load at 3,000. Okay, here we go. Now we're back to 412 again. Okay. So that's our numbers, I guess. I'm just gonna check the timing right now. 412, that's, well, roughly 470 foot-pounds of torque. Horsepower is at 4.7, 412, 410, 412. Okay, 412, 413. Oh, you know what? It's not far from his goal. It's not too bad. Except that the air fuel ratio is way too rich, which we're gonna have to do some carburetor work on it from what I see. And in the meantime, let me check the timing and let's see how it goes. Then after that, we're gonna make a cylinder pressure test. Here we go. I got about 32 degrees. I'm going to bring it to 34. I just want to try it to see if I can increase my torque numbers. But for some reason, it doesn't want to turn off. Okay, I'm going to start it up just to see the timing. Usually when you have a high compression and a low octane fuel, this is the issue. You cannot turn off the engine. It takes a while. Then it spins backwards. But according to Andre, he bought 94 octane. And for some reason, we're going to check the compression and the cylinder pressure after. But in the meantime, let me get the timing to 36 degrees, make one more test, and then we'll take out a few spark plugs and make a few tests on the cylinder pressure. Okay, here we go. I've just advanced the timing at 36 degrees and we're going to make a test. And so far it looks pretty good. But I know the carburetors need work and we can make more power if we can lean it out. In the meantime, I just want to make a test at 36 degrees. Then we'll stop there, take out a few spark plugs, make some compression tests on the cylinder pressure, and we'll take it from there. Here we go. Okay, this is the last test for today. Bring down the RPM so I can turn off the engine. There we go. Come on, turn off. Oil pressure is good. Okay. Looking pretty good. All right. We're back at the same thing, 412 horsepower. Same thing. Torque numbers, well, we lost a bit of torque with the timing where it was. So anyways, let's see where we're at. It sure needs carburetor work, but you know, once we get those carburetors fixed, we're gonna gain more horsepower. In the meantime, let me just check one more time. Air fuel ratio, way too rich. Okay, so I'm gonna take out a few plugs just to make a cylinder pressure test, and we'll see if this thing needs an overhaul, because from what I see, it looks pretty good. It's not leaking any oil, except that it idles very, very lean. I tried enriching it, it didn't work. So I'm going to send out the carburetors out to Don Oak in Cortes, Ontario, get them overhauled, restore them. In the meantime, I think I'm not going to take apart this engine. I think I'm going to detail it for my client Matthew, or if he wants, take off the cylinder heads and do some further search to see what he's got. He's got a good cam in there. He's got 13, 14, 15 inches of vacuum. He's got power brakes that work. He's got no oil leaks. I think it's pretty good. I think I'm just going to do carburetor work and detail. So let me check the cylinder pressure. Let's go. I know I'm using a 94 octane, but question is, I'm going to make a cylinder test on all 8 cylinders to make sure, because maybe we're not going to overhaul the engine. So I got to make sure it's equal as much as possible. This is how you make a compression test. You warm up the engine, you remove 8 spark plugs, you open the carburetor full throttle like so, and leave it locked open. And now let's make a compression test. This is how I was taught at the dealership at General Motors, how to make a compression test on a motor. Full throttle, 8 plugs out, engine warmed up. 1, 2. He's almost at 180, 185. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got good compression with cast iron heads. Yeah, he needs a 94, maybe a little bit more than that. Yeah, I'm not looking for more compression on this one, that's for sure. Let's check this one. 1, 2. Up there, 180, 185. Let's check the next one. 1, 2. Yeah, 185. So far, 3 of them are up there. Here's another one. Back up there. Let's check the other side. I give it 4 strokes. That's what I was taught. 4 strokes. Let me just show you guys on camera. Here we go. Okay, we're almost at 190. We're pretty good so far. 185 easy. Does this engine need an overhaul? I don't think so. Does it have blue smoke in the exhaust when he runs it? No. Does it have any major oil leaks? No. Running rich? Yes. All cylinders are equal so far. I've done 6 of them. It's up there, 185. Maybe some guys have a different way of making a compression test, but this is my way and it works for me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Just to show you guys. 185, 190. Not bad. Okay. I'll take off the full throttle. I'm going to put the spark plugs back in because my customer's coming in a little while. He wants to see it running. So in the meantime, I just want to show you guys on camera what we were doing. So from what I see, this engine needs a good detail, an oil change, maybe a new set of spark plugs, overhaul the carburetors, and I think it'll be good as new. So I want to thank you guys for joining us here in the Dyno room on a 446 barrel that belongs to Matthew on a 69 Roadrunner convertible. And I'm waiting for him to see what he wants to tell me. So I'm going to give him all the information I've got right now saved up. So when he comes here tonight, I'll give it to him. We'll see what he wants and we'll take it from there. So you know we're going to overhaul these carburetors, detail the engine, put it back on the dyno because I'm sure Matthew wants to see with the carburetors tuned how it's going to perform. And don't forget, you guys, subscribe to my channel, press the like button. And there you have it. And thanks for watching us here on Nick's Garage.
Nick had already been in the shop for over 12 hours on this day, but he was happy to welcome Mathieu, the engine's owner, when he dropped in for a late-night dyno session. You don't usually see guys who make their living from rebuilding engines telling their clients that their engines don't need to be rebuilt. But that's the kind of honest service you get at Nick's Garage.
And you guys, if you look down below the video, we have a whole bunch of merchandise that you guys can buy. So whatever you like, buy it, love it, wear it, and enjoy it. And help spread the word of Nick's Garage. And if you have some time, check out our Patreon page. We have extra content and you guys can watch it and take it from there. And we'll see you next time.